Hi, now I'm going to answer your questions here. Before we start, I really hope that you would like to link to my homepage, Gronnemark.com. Here you can read about my throwing coaching, but also my books. I'm writing on a book about throw-ins at the moment, and yeah, so your viewers, listeners can also see that. So please link to my homepage, Gronnemark.com. But I'll start with the first question. At the moment, where do you live? How does COVID-19 affect your life and work? Yeah, I'm living in Denmark. I'm living in the western part of Denmark in a city called Skive. And right now, of course, all football is totally closed down, so I'm not coaching at the clubs at the moment. But I'm coaching a lot of players individually on video, so they're like sending me some video of their throw-ins, and then I'm sending videos back to them. So yeah, that's the way I'm working at the moment. Question number 2. Why did you choose the throwing coach job? Is it fate that you study and become a throwing coach? I've always been really passionate about throw-ins. From I was a small kid to a teenager where I was really doing the throw-ins. I was a really throw-in specialist as a football player as a teenager. Then I went to athletics because I was very fast on the football pitch. So I was on the Danish national athletics team running 100, 200, 400 meters and relays. I was several time Danish champion, but also European champion at the 4x400 meter relay for club teams in 2000 in Paris. And after that, from 2002 to 2006, I was on the Danish bobsleigh team, the national team, traveling all around the world. And it was in the middle of that bobsleigh period, I thought, hey, if I can make a good throw in myself, can't I teach other players to do it? So in 2004, I made my own throwing course because there was no books about throw-ins. So yeah, and then in the fall 2004, I got my first team, Viborg FF, in the Danish Superliga. The year after, it was FC Midtjylland from the Danish Superliga, an even better club. And then since 2004, I've been coaching a lot of clubs, and of course at the moment Liverpool FC, Ajax, and other big clubs. I've taken no football courses. I've been doing everything myself. So yeah, so at the moment I'm working with my throw-in philosophy called the long, the fast and the clever throw-in. Question number 3. At the moment, how many clubs are you working with? Who are they? Why don't you choose to work full-time for one club only? Yeah, I'm a freelance throwing coach, and the reason why I'm not working full-time at a club is because even though my throwing coaching been famous, I think it's not enough for full-time in one club now. But at the moment, I'm coaching 8 different pro teams. For example, Liverpool FC in the Premier League, Ajax, Amsterdam in the Eerste Division, Gent from Belgium, also coaching FC Midtjylland from Denmark, also Atlanta United from the United States in the MLS, and then a few secret clubs too. So I'm coaching a lot of teams, and I'm really happy because when I'm coaching more teams, it gives me the opportunity to travel all around the world. So my biggest dream is to travel not only to a few like this season 8 pro teams, but also when I've been publishing my book, travel all around the world to inspire coaches all around the world, and not only professional coaches but also youth and amateur coaches. Question number 4. I read that you was a promising striker at under 18 levels, but after that you turned your attention to athletics and bobsleigh. Why did you decide to do that? Yeah, I told a little bit about it in the first questions here, but it was because I wasn't good enough to be a professional football player. I was really fast and good with throw-ins, but I knew if I had to like reach some of my sporting dreams, it had to be in another sport. So that's the reason why I changed to athletics. And why did I change to bobsleigh then? It was because I had success in 2002 in athletics, but I was moving to my hometown now, Skive, and I was, instead of training with a big group, I had to train alone and with no coach. So yeah, the reason why I moved to Skive was because of my wife. I met my wife, so yeah, something you do. Sometimes you do some weird stuff because of love. But yeah, that's the reason why I went to bobsleighing, because it was a team sport. So we traveled all around the world, like all of Europe, United States, Canada, and so it was fantastic 4 years. And I think that was also the main reason why I also like became a throwing coach, because if I haven't been in athletics and bobsleighing, I don't think that I would have been a throwing coach. So yeah, I was really happy for that I continued in athletics and bobsleighing. 5, do athletics and bobsleigh have any helps on your current work? Yeah, it helps me a lot, because athletics, that's a lot about the movements, how can we move the best way. But bobsleighing, that's also a lot about, first of all, video analysis. We used a lot of video analysis in bobsleighing, and yeah, I'm also using that as a throwing coach at the moment, not only for the long throw-ins, but throw-ins all around the pitch. But I'm also using, I've been playing a lot of street basketball myself, so I'm also using that when I'm coaching in the football clubs. So because you can use a lot of movements from basketball too. 6, what's the reason for your work for Liverpool? What's your feeling when working with Jürgen Klopp? What are the things that prove his open-mindedness? Yeah, I'm really happy to work for Liverpool FC. Jürgen Klopp called me in July 2018 and asked me to help him. So I'm really proud of that. The reason why I'm working for Liverpool is because Jürgen Klopp, he said to me, they had a good season in the Premier League, 17-18 season with a 4th place in Premier League, but also Champions League final. But they lost the ball on the throw-ins almost every time. So he really needed my help. So it really proves his open-mindedness that he invited me to Liverpool and he listened to me, listened to my knowledge. It was not like he said, you have to do this and this. So in Liverpool FC, I have like all the opportunities I want. I can teach the players everything I want. Of course, I'm talking with Jürgen and the other coaches. So it's not only like I decide everything, but Jürgen is really open-minded. And then he's also like, of course, he's like 100% serious, high performance, but he's also really friendly, a really kind man. He's fantastic man to be together with. So he's also have a big influence on the working culture in Liverpool FC. So I'm just really proud to work not only in Liverpool FC but also with Jürgen Klopp. On your website, you write, Liverpool FC went from number 18 in the Premier League at throw-ins possession under pressure, 45.4 in 2017-18 to first 68.4% in 18-19. In particular, what have you done to improve their throw-in skills? How about current season? The numbers I'm referring to here is that it's numbers that like Tifo Football showed in September 19, and it's not my data, it's their data. I have my numbers myself, but Liverpool also have their numbers, and they are all like really, really good. But they at Tifo Football, and you can see that video on my homepage, Gronnemark.com. They looked at all the different clubs in the European leagues. They looked at throw-ins under pressure. And throw-in under pressure are where the players are marked. In the 17-18 season, Liverpool were only number 18 out of 20 on throw-ins under pressure. And yeah, and they were 3rd last in the Premier League. And like Jürgen Klopp said himself, They were really bad at throw-ins. And then in my first season, 18-19 season, we improved to 68.4%, and we went from number 18 in the Premier League to number 1 in Premier League, and also to number 2 in Europe, only after one of my other teams, FC Midtjylland, I'm coaching. So yeah, what do? I'm coaching Liverpool the long, the fast and the clever throw-ins. First of all, the long throw-in is to make the players throw longer. So I'm using video analysis and 30 different technical aspects. And most players improve between 5 and 10 meters, some up to 15 meters with my training. And it's not because in Liverpool we want to do long throw-ins towards the opponent's goal. It's more like the longer throw-in you have, the greater throw-in area you have. You can see it like here. If you only throw like this here, then you only have this throw-in area. But if you throw like this, you can have like this throw-in area. It means that you can throw to more players, and it's really important. So I do that long throwing coaching in Ajax and Liverpool, and so even though we're not taking any long throw-ins towards the opponent's goal, so that's important. I'm also coaching the fast throwing. That's all about when should we throw fast, but also when not to throw fast, when to wait, because sometimes it's really stupid to throw fast. And then fast throw-ins are also counter-attack throw-ins. You can't be offside on a throw-in. It's also really dangerous. And then we have the clever throw-in. That's all about how to create space when we have a throw-in under pressure. I'm working with 3 zones all over the pitch, like a defending zone, middle zone, and an attacking zone. And I also have like 40 to 50 throw-in zones, and then I'm also having special assignments for each player. So yeah. That's one of the main reason why Liverpool has improved, because they've been doing my long, fast and clever throw-in philosophy. They learned the tools, both the players but also the coaches. And you also ask, how about current season? This season Liverpool has scored 13 goals after throw-in situations all over the pitch. For example, the winning goal against Wolverhampton, the winning goals against Tottenham in Premier League this season. So throw-ins can be really, really dangerous. You said there are 3 types of long throw-in, long, fast and clever. But in the world, most of teams are losing long throw-ins. What are your thoughts about that? Yes, right now I told you about the long, fast and clever throw-ins. The challenge is, if you're only using long throw-ins towards the opponent's goal, then you're missing a lot, because you have many more throw-ins all over the pitch, 40 to 60. So of course in some teams, my teams are scoring a lot of goals on long throw-ins, but most of the teams in the world, they rather use long, fast and clever throw-in philosophy, because they can get much more from that. So in my opinion, all teams should use my philosophy on the long, fast and clever throw-in. Question 9. In Vietnam, ďelap, former Stoke City player, is very popular because of his throw-in ability. His throw-ins are as good as crosses, and he had many assists by throwing. What are things that everyone can learn from him? I'll say ďelap, I love him too. He's not playing anymore, but they scored a lot of goals from at Stoke with his fantastic throw-ins. It's really important to me to say that throw-ins can be a dangerous weapon if you have the right team. Not this season, but the last 4 seasons. FC Midtjylland, one of my teams, scored 35 goals on long throw-ins. In one season in the Danish Superliga, AC Horsens scored 10 goals on the long throw-ins, so it can be dangerous, but only if you have like a big physical team where you're really only focusing on set pieces. So if you're not a big team who's like really going after set pieces, I don't think you have to have the same strategy as ďelap. But again, it's always good if you're a fullback, or even no matter where you're playing on the pitch, that you have a longer throw-in. So that's what I'm teaching out the players. But again, ďelap was fantastic, but it was also because Stoke had a really big team. They had like 8 guys over 1.90 meters in the start 11, so it was really set up. So, but again, he had a fantastic throw-in. Question number 10. At Liverpool, which players are the best at throw-ins? And at all of club which you're working on, you can say publicity. Which players are the best at that ability? Do you train them so hard? Yeah, first of all, I'm using a lot of times with the players, and you can only be better if you train them. If I have to say the best, not only players in Liverpool but in the world, it's Andy Robertson, Robo, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent, yeah, and it's because not because they throw the furthest, but because they're the guys who can throw like most precise, but also see when is the space created between the players. And that's one of the most important things, that you create space between the players. So I would say that the two best throw-in takers in the world, they are the fullbacks from Liverpool FC, Trent and Robo. Question number 11. Are you still holding the world record for the longest throw-in of 51.33, which you set back in 2010? Are there any secrets that you can tell anyone? First of all, yeah, I had the world record with a throw of 51.33 for almost 10 years. Now there is a guy called Michael Lewis from the States who beat the world record in, I think it was the fall 2019. But that's okay for me because, you know, it was just a fantastic thing for me to beat the world record. So I'll say that, yeah, to go after your goals and dreams, it's good. It's really been helping me with my career as a throwing coach, that I also have had the world longest throw-in, so I'm just happy about that. And then, are there any secrets you can tell anyone? I can say in general that right now I can't tell so much about my throwing coaching in the clubs and all my throwing coaching secrets. But I can recommend to everybody who reads this or listens to this that you can go into my homepage, thomasgronnemark.com, and read a lot about my throwing coaching. You can also read about my future books and my online courses, because for me that's the most important thing, to change football in a positive direction. And I just want to help all coaches in the world, also amateur coaches and youth coaches. So also in Vietnam too.
Which Danish players, especially Danish international, are the best at throwing in your opinion? Called Mikkel Kvist. He's now playing at Iceland. He's also really good at the long throw-ins. And then I don't know if I have to look at the fast and clever throw-in. I can't really mention anyone who has the same quality as Andy Robertson from Liverpool and Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool. You're also right. I think every coach in the world wants to work for national team. So did anyone at Danish Football Union approach you? I can't really, you know, sometimes I'm telling which club I'm working for, but I'm never telling who would contact me. So, but again, it's a big dream for me to work for the Danish national team. But my dream is also to work for some of the big countries, other big countries in the world. For example, to the European Championships or World Cup. Question number 2. You said Liverpool was the second best throw-in team in Europe after FC Midtjylland. What is the difference between them? I think in this analysis, Midtjylland had approximately 70% possession on throw-ins under pressure, and Liverpool had 68.4. But I think Liverpool's numbers are better because there are much more. It's a harder pressure you get in the Premier League compared to the Danish Super League. So, but fantastic for both teams here. Question number 3. You said in Liverpool you don't use long throw-ins towards the opponent's goal. Why does Liverpool not implement long throw-in towards opponent's goals as a key strength? It's because if you want to score a lot of goals on long throw-ins, you have to take a lot of long throw-ins in a match. And it's not Liverpool style to use like 30, 45 seconds every time there is an opportunity for the long throw-in. So yeah, it's because of the playing style. The audience, also the club, want more like fast play. But in some clubs who are like physical, really doing a lot of set pieces, focus on them, then it's really good with the long throw-in. So, but I'll say in some clubs, I'm coaching perhaps 20-30%, they really use the long throw-in, and all the other clubs, they still use the long throw-in, but not as a weapon, but more like all over the pitch. Question number 4. When I ask about your secrets, I meant secrets about your world record for the longest throw-in. Can you tell anything? Oh, there was no real secrets there. It was just like I just learned to do the flip throw-in, and with this flip throw-in I beat the world record with 51.33 meters. I won't recommend the flip throw-in for professional players because often, first of all, it's really hard to learn, and it's also very dangerous, and then second of all, I'll say that flip throw-ins are often too high, so they are too easy to defend. So I'll prefer, if we are talking about the long throw-in, then I'll prefer a normal run-in, a flat, hard throw-in instead. But again, I'm focusing more on the long, fast and clever throw-ins all over the pitch. So that's my main focus at the moment. But that was my answers to your questions. Have a nice day. Bye.
So again, take a look at thomasgronnemark.com. You can also find me on my YouTube channel. Just search Thomas Gronnemark, or I have a lot of good drills there for football coaches. You can also find me on social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so. But again, that was my answers for your questions. If you have more questions, please return to me. But have a nice day. Bye bye.